Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that asks the question, what the fuck was that? It is Lost in the Midcard, post NXT Takeover, post SummerSlam, all of it in Brooklyn edition. I'd like to thank SpiderDuck.net for hosting this podcast and enabling us to be on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any of your podcasting apps. Just search for Lost in the Midcard. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and those two links are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/lostinthemidcard. As always, I have my co-host here on the Twitter. He is at RawFShowtime, and I'm at JB Huskers. Matt Black. Matt, what's up, man?
How about that NXT Takeover Brooklyn, huh?
Yeah, that was like, I think that was I thought that was SummerSlam. I thought last night was SummerSlam.
Man, I'm telling you what, man. NXT Takeover Brooklyn was everything you could want out of a pro wrestling event. I loved it. And SummerSlam happened.
Yeah, SummerSlam
it
was
happened.
built up.
It was here.
SummerSlam was built up to be the WrestleMania Part 2 of 2015, and it turned out to be a 4-hour Raw.
Well, here's the I wouldn't even call it a 4-hour Raw. Here's the problem with SummerSlam, and I don't even know if it's necessarily a problem with SummerSlam. How much better do you think the show would have been if we didn't have NXT on the night before to compare it to?
I don't know.
I think NXT being on the night before tremendously hurt the anticipation for this show.
It didn't hurt my anticipation. I think the finishes of tonight's matches, not just the end, but there were a few finishes that were just odd.
Honestly, the only finish I had an issue with was the main event. I didn't have any other issues with any other finish tonight.
I don't know. I mean, TakeOver definitely did not take away from my anticipation of tonight, because I thought tonight was going to be huge. I thought we were going to get some oh my god.
But I mean, that's the problem. We got so hyped on TakeOver Saturday night that it built up expectation for SummerSlam that it just couldn't possibly live up to.
Yeah, we were expecting a Sting or a Steve Austin, or even a Kane or J&J Security.
And the best,
and I'm glad there
was Mick Foley.
I'm glad there was no interference or no.
I would have much rather had interference in the main event than the finish they gave us.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Not even a question. I much rather would have had an interference. If you didn't want anybody to win clean, you could have done something to prevent that match from finishing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the camera didn't pick up on the main key that they needed us to pick up on to sell it with the ring keeper ringing the bell. It was just a bad camera angle, so when it happened, it didn't make any damn sense.
No.
So it still doesn't make any sense, because when does the timekeeper declare that he sees a tap out, so the match is over? How many times has the referee been down that there's been a tap out and the timekeeper just sits there like dur.
I thought it was Kane, maybe ringing the bell or something, because hey, he's got like an excuse, like, hey, you came back and didn't care about what Brock did to me, you just cared about yourself. That would have made a little bit of sense, but I don't know. We'll get a little more into that once we get to talking about the main event. Let's first talk about last night. NXT Takeover was just phenomenal, and the crowd was phenomenal. Everything about this night was great. There were no lulls. Every match was solid, and then, like I just said, the crowd really drove it home for the event. The crowd was great for this event.
Oh, absolutely. The crowd was hot all night. The crowd treated the event like a big deal, and it was a big deal.
I love the opening with Triple H, where first he talked to the WWE universe watching at home, unmiked, looking at the camera, and then grabbed the microphone and said, "We are NXT." I thought that was awesome. I
Did you
mean,
hear the story behind that?
no.
Triple H came out to talk to the crowd before they went live on the network, and he said, I have this vision for how I want to open the show, but everybody in the back tells me that you guys won't do it. But I need you all to be quiet while I do the intro. And then when I raise my hands up and the lights come on, I need you to all be as loud as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
And what, the fans actually, listened to Triple H and went along with that opening, and it was freaking amazing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
great.
the opening was awesome, and and the fact that Triple H went out there and like ran down with the crowd, how they were gonna do it, just freaking sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so unique, especially like where he's talking to us watching it at home, and then addresses the universe in the arena. And yeah, perfect way to open that up. I loved it. And we start off with a great opener, a great choice for an opener. Um, I've said this a few times that it's just completely surreal to see 50-year-old Jushin Thunder Liger making his debut in the WWE. Just love it. And props to William Regal for having the initiative and the idea to bring him over for such an event and have him face Tyler Breeze, who, I've said this guy could be, the next kind of HBK type of guy down the road. I have that high of hope for Breeze. The entrance is cool. Breeze always has that cool, unique entrance for a takeover show. This time he had some models modeling some very odd New York City themed stuff, but still cool. And I tell you what, you know, Jushin Thunder Liger, he came out. I loved when he was being a jokester and taking selfies with Breeze's selfie stick.
Okay, it was pretty great. I thought
Oh,
Liger was he was in rare form last night. I mean,
mhm.
he's older. He doesn't move as well as he used to. And I thought he came out and did a great job. So I love the opener. I thought it was a great way to start the show.
Yeah. Breeze hit the supermodel kick early. We thought maybe, what, we got to job another WCW guy here, but no, just a 2 count on that. Uh, New York crowd chanting "Full Sail sucks." I think I don't blame them for doing so with all the booing that Full Sail was
I was
doing.
just glad they got it out of their system early and they stopped.
Yeah,
Because if that would have been a chant going on all night, I would have been highly annoyed.
yeah.
I was happy that they got it out of the way early, they got it out of their system, and they stopped. And I was appreciative of that because I did not want to hear that all night.
Liger hits a palm strike, and that kind of stuns Breeze, and Liger hits the Liger bomb for the 1-2-3. The match went about 9 minutes. So Jushin Thunder Liger gets the win over Tyler Breeze. I think. Did we both pick Liger in that, or did I say Breeze? I can't. Well, of course
I think we both said Breeze.
we were both having a hard time remembering our picks in this in SummerSlam, let alone NXT.
Yeah, because
So
our NXT picks we weren't counting them.
yeah, and I haven't like tallied up the SummerSlam ones yet. Trevor got back to us, so Trevor did pretty good too. I think we all were in about the 1 to 2 loss range. We all did pretty good on the predictions. But yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger getting a win, big ovation. He bows to the crowd. Love the match, great opener. Obviously, I think Breeze is going to be pretty close to being in line for an NXT title shot down the road, whether it be Finn Balor or if they turn Joe heel maybe and have Joe go after Balor. I'm not sure what the next step is,
They
but
could easily do Joe and Balor as a face versus face match. And
could.
there's no reason to turn either of them heel yet. I mean,
No.
honestly, I would have I mentioned this over the weekend. I'm sure I've mentioned way before that. I would have Joe beat Balor for the title, and I would have Hideo come back and have it be revealed that Joe was the one who took Hideo out. Turn
Hmm.
Joe heel then, and have Hideo chase Joe to win the NXT title from Joe. And that's how I would do it. So
yeah, I like that idea. Because who knows? I mean, if it was Kevin Owens, then he still may be around in NXT.
Yeah,
We don't
I
know
don't
yet.
think it was Owens. I think Owens is too much of the obvious pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it was Owens.
Yeah, that would be a great idea if it was Joe. They show 3/4 of the Clique sitting at ringside. Nash, Hall, and X-Pac. Pretty good ovation for those guys. Hey, I think they recognize good wrestling and we're there to enjoy a good show. Bayley in her dressing room. They cut to Bayley backstage. Charlotte and Becky give her a big hug. When they showed up, Bayley looked like she had like this surprised look on her face, like they were gonna attack her or something.
Yeah, man, they were gonna jump her, leave her and take the title shot for themselves.
The BFFs are back together again. Oh boy, it's tag team titles time. The Vaudevillains enter, and the Brooklyn crowd clapping along to their happy old 1920s music. I loved it. And then we get the beautiful Alexa Bliss with the Sweet Boys.
Gunner and Murphy.
And I still call them the Sweet Boys. But so Alexa gets on the microphone and says, "Oh, too bad. Nobody's there to help you." But then guess who shows up?
I called it.
Blue Pants. Oh yeah, well, at least Big Cass got on the show somehow.
No, he was on the pre-show, which should be shown this Wednesday. And honestly, I know people are still saying she's not under contract. There's no way she's not under a WWE deal by now.
Yeah.
Between bringing her up there and having her own T-shirt on the WWE shop, there's no freaking way she hasn't signed some kind of deal with the company.
And props to Leva Bates for favoriting one of my tweets last night. That made my night. She was up late too. Jeez,
because probably freaking coming down from that crazy high that show brought everybody in that event.
I know. I was DJing last night, so I didn't get home till about 2:15, 2:30, and I couldn't even make it through the whole show. I told you I said I'd be lucky to make it, and I was like, I'm kind of starting to fade. I want my full energy for these 2 title matches, so I called it. I called it a night and caught the 2 co-main events this afternoon.
Yes, so. I saw your DM message barrage when I woke up this morning.
Yes, I told you there was going to be one.
You weren't lying.
Very, very good tag match though between the Vaudevillains and Blake and Murphy. Though I think it was some great back and forth. The women really didn't. The women were not really involved throughout the entire match. They let the match play out and then get themselves involved. And when they saved it, that was great that they saved it for the end. And the crowd just went nuts when Blue Pants got her attack on Alexa. So it was real well done. And the Whirling Dervish was hit, and that's it. New tag champs, the Vaudevillains. And Matt, you're not as big of a Vaudevillain fan as I am, but after this showing at Takeover, are you a little more on board?
I thought it was their best showing to date, as far as a match goes for them on NXT, and honestly, anybody's better than Blake and Murphy. So
the Sweet Boys.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with the tag title change. I called the title change, so I mean it didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I think I called it too. Again, my memory is way off, but it was they were great, and it's good to see Blue Pants siding with the Vaudevillains. Hopefully, it's a permanent thing. Well, at least for the near future, to where we get to see Miss Blue Pants and maybe give her a name finally. I think the Blue Pants thing's run its course, don't you?
I don't know, man. That crowd says it hasn't.
That could be a nickname, though. Give her a real name instead of calling her Blue.
Like legitimately, dude, in San Jose when I was at that NXT event WrestleMania weekend, people were chanting for her before the show even started.
Was she on that show?
No, she was not. Oh. She was not even there. it's ridiculous how over that character is.
Yeah, it's safe to say that the crowd loves Blue Pants, and it's safe to say that the NXT universe got her a contract. I mean, she's talented in her own right, but sometimes you got to connect with the crowd too to get that piece of paper sent your way. So, so it's good to see that the crowd realized her talent and put their faith behind her. Now, hopefully, we'll get to see her on more of a regular basis. And I don't know who's up next for the Vaudevillains. Obviously, there'll probably be a rematch, but I don't know who
I
would
would
probably be.
assume it's an immediate rematch.
Who do you think is probably gonna get pushed after that? You think Jordan and Gable?
I would say they're the prime candidates because of the VOD. Even though they're called the Vaudevillains, they're faces.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would say Jason Jordan and Gable are probably the prime candidates right now. I really can't think of anybody else. I would imagine whoever wins the Dusty Invitational tag team tournament after Blake and Murphy get the rematch, whoever wins that tag title tournament should get the first tag title shot on the new champs.
Um, God, what's the name of that one? Is it Dawson and Wilder? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do I have the what? They're impressing me as a team lately.
I don't
I
know.
kind
I
of
don't know
like.
if I'd throw them right into the tag team mix. And again, I
No,
wasn't sure Blake and Murphy should have been tag team champions either.
well, yeah, and that was kind of a oh my god surprise moment when they defeated the Lucha Dragons. I mean, that was like the underdog story type of thing, and they got popped before. I mean, they were still faces back then, so they got the nice pop because it was such a surprise to see. But yeah, tag division is in full swing. Uh, just to skip ahead a little bit, where we thought the tag division in the WWE was kind of crap after the treatment they got on Raw, at least we got an awesome tag match on for the Fatal 4-Way as well. So the tag division is still in good hands, and we thank them for that. They show a clip of Finn Balor arriving into the arena and getting welcomed by Neville, which got a huge pop, and then a gigantic pop when Cesaro showed up to give Finn Balor a handshake and well wishes for his title match tonight against Kevin Owens. They show Rick Rubin at ringside. He is definitely a wrestling fan and one of the greatest producers of all time, no doubt about it. It is time for the perfect 10, 10, 10. Ty Dellinger. And how about New York giving him a warm welcome? I loved it.
It was more of a warm welcome than I expected. That's for sure.
I think it's starting to get over a little bit. But then how about the welcome for Apollo Crews when that music hit? Holy crap. We the crowd just I think it surprised Cruz when he came out and that pop hit him. He kind of had that little reaction like, "Whoa, hey, I'm here now," you know?
It was,
And
dude. It was his birthday, man.
yeah, what a
What a birthday present to debut in the Barclays Center like that. It's the sky's the limit for that dude, man.
I was good to see that Dillinger didn't completely get jobbed here. It was a
I
four
thought he
minute
was. I
match.
thought he was going to. I thought he was going to get crushed.
Yeah. It was a 4 minute match and he got a good amount of offense in and got to put out the tens out there for the crowd. Even though Cruz got a huge ovation, the crowd still, went along with Dillinger's gimmick, which I think is getting over. I think you could do without him shaving 10 in the back of his head. That was kind of stupid.
Yeah,
There's a "you look stupid" chant just waiting to happen. But oh god, how did Apollo Crews look though, man? I told you, man.
he was
I was
impressive, man. Absolutely.
oh my god. Um, it was it was just insane. The double standing moonsault just to for a man that size to be able to do that is just insane. And like I said, I think the sky's the limit for this guy. I think he is gonna take what kind of like a route of Bobby Lashley, but surpass it. I do believe. I think he's got that kind of charisma and that kind of talent, and I think he's gonna go far in the WWE. But a great win by Apollo Crews to start off his career. And we mentioned the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. William Regal announced that. He said September 2nd it'll start. And it'll also, during that promo, we mentioned October 7th is the next TakeOver show, which is really kind of close in between takeovers this time, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, only a 2-month gap. And honestly, I wouldn't mind a takeover every 2 months.
Yeah,
You know,
every month is
the
probably too
more
much.
every month's probably too much at this point, but every 2 months, I'm all about getting more live NXT specials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the thing with every month that just doesn't work is the fact that it's a 1 hour show. You can't develop as much doing a monthly special. So yeah, every other month would be perfect. Every quarter's still fine because hey, there's a lot of time in between, so it's kind of like Christmas. Every 4 times a year, we just got to wait for it every 3 months. They show the Tough Enough finalists at ringside, and guess what happened? A bunch of boos. Maybe that should tell you what the WWE Universe thought about Tough Enough this year.
Or at least the people who are left in it.
True. Those are the finalists, and the show ends on Tuesday. And I believe we will record our Thursday show. We're going to record it on Tuesday, so we're going to probably get that started recording for our next episode right after the finale, so we can include that in our next show and talk about the winners of Tough Enough. Probably Josh and Sarah Lee.
Still hoping it's Josh and Amanda, dude.
You think there's?
I'm hoping Brian saves Amanda on Tuesday.
I don't think he can use the save.
I'm pretty sure he can. I'm pretty sure he can.
I don't think he can. We'll find out Tuesday, which is just a couple of days away, but I don't think he can.
Be my hero, Daniel Bryan.
Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe. Baron Corbin getting some boos. At least it's better than crickets. So he is getting over as a heel a little bit, more and more each day. Of course, Samoa Joe and New York City are 1-1 for the promotions that he's wrestled for in the past. So a gigantic ovation for Joe. Now this did go longer than your typical Corbin match, 11 minutes. So did you like what you saw out of Corbin?
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I've never thought Corbin was awful. I just find him bland and boring. I mean, he's fine in the ring, but I mean, even when they were portraying him as a face, people still hated him. I mean, he was booed out of the building at WrestleMania weekend when he was supposed to be a good guy. So it was only a natural evolution to turn this guy heel. But I don't know, man. I wasn't impressed with him per se because I expected what we got out of him. I wasn't surprised. I expected a good match, and we got a good match. So that's all I got to say about that.
Corbin did show off some great strength though with some of the moves he did on Joe, but did not land the end of days like he did on NXT. So that's probably why he landed it on NXT, because he didn't even get the chance to on this match at Takeover, as he went to attempt it and fell right into the Coquina clutch where Corbin passed out. Samoa Joe, your winner after an 11-minute match. The crowd giving Joe a gigantic ovation. I'm sure they are just thrilled to see him in this promotion right now. So, and Joe looks great. There's a sky's the limit for Joe with upcoming stuff for him to face at NXT between Finn Balor, returning Hideo Itami, maybe even a Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze. There's just so much to look forward to with Joe as he continues through NXT. What would you like to see Joe's immediate next feud be, Matt?
I want him to go for the title, man. I want him and Balor to tear the house down. So,
do you think Balor holds the title for a long time, or do you think Joe takes it from him like real soon?
I would have have Joe take it from him to feud with Hideo.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I already said what I would do earlier. I would have Joe beat Balor in a face versus face match, and then have Hideo come back, and I'd have it be revealed that Joe took out Hideo, which would turn Joe heel, and then I would have Joe and Hideo feud over the title, with Hideo ending up taking the title away from Joe.
They show Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, and Kana at ringside, and they also show Naomi and Tamina at ringside to support Sasha.
And
Are you familiar with
she is
Kana at all?
a phenomenal women's wrestler in Japan. And there are rumblings that she signed a deal with the WWE a few weeks ago. So if that's the case, if you think the women's division's good now, it's only going to get better. Adding her to the mix.
And they need to add someone to the mix. Otherwise, we're going to have some of the women that jumped ship in the Revolution to come back and kind of fill out the Divas division with so much talent that left for the
You
main
got Nia
roster.
Jax coming.
Mm-hmm.
Fox cousin.
But isn't that can you name an odder trio of people though? Flair, Slaughter, and Kana. That was I don't think they were partying backstage after the show.
Are you
What do you
sure?
think? I don't know.
See, you're just speculating. You don't know.
Flair, take that shot, you maggot! Woo!
Oh, Flair.
Stephanie McMahon came down to the ring. She said there are 15,589 people at the show for NXT Takeover. And, that's triple the show from San Jose before WrestleMania. And that was an impressive crowd. So, I mean, NXT is here and here to stay, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And if you didn't know by now, after this show, there should be no doubt in your minds that this is the future of the industry right now. And the future, ironically, it's their catchphrase, but the future is now.
Stephanie was here to introduce the first of two main events on the show tonight with Bayley against Sasha Banks, and Bayley got a massive pop from the crowd. Loved it. We got even more gigantic little floaty thingies, whatever you call those damn things, and the crowd just took to the whole entrance of Bayley. I loved it. And then Sasha Banks rolling up in an Escalade with some security detail. How boss was that, Matt?
Dude, her entrance was awesome.
Oh, that was
It was a
boss.
big feel entrance. It felt like when they do those special entrances for WrestleMania, it felt like a special WrestleMania type entrance for her. It was really freaking cool.
Yeah, that was badass, and the crowd even popped harder for Sasha than they did for Bayley. So now let's talk about the match. Holy cow! Match of the weekend by far. Uh, just an amazing. I don't, it's hard to really put words to it, but like Banks hitting her double knee from the top rope rather than the second rope. Uh, that was one of the things that kind of stood out to me. Um, Obviously, towards the middle of the match, the fans chanted, "This is wrestling," and no shit, because this was just a brilliant match. And then Sasha on the outside takes off the hand wrap on that was covering Bayley's hand that was previously broken. Worked on that, and how sick did that trapping it in the steel steps and kicking it look?
Dude, I don't even know how they did that without really hurting. I
That
mean,
looked
I
brutal.
know they had to set it up well to do it, but damn, that looked painful. Like, even if you didn't have a hand injury before, that looked ow.
And then Sasha got back into the ring. Bayley's still on the outside doing a great sell job on that attack. And Sasha Banks jumps over the referee and hits a plancha on Bayley. Wow, that was insane right there. Uh, Basically, from there on out, Bayley just eventually starts to get back into the ring. Banks is still working on her hand. Banks applies the bank statement, but Bayley reverses it into her own submission. How about that? When she flipped that into her own submission, the crowd went fucking nuts, and I think that was, my opinion, the moment of the match right there, because in terms of intensity and electricity, when Bayley put on that reversal, I thought that was the moment of the match right there.
Yeah, dude, it was. I do honestly, I can't say enough great things about that match. I really freaking can't. It was freaking amazing.
They do a battle in the turnbuckle, but Bailey dominates with some elbow shots and hits a sick reverse Hurricane Rana. That was holy shit. What was that? Somebody called it a poison drop or something. I can't remember what that was called, but I don't know if that was the correct term for it or not. But whatever it was sick.
Yeah,
That's all I
it
know.
was awesome. That's all that matters.
She turned
We don't
that.
need accurate names here on Lost in the Midcard.
She turned the reverse Hurricane Rana into the Bailey to belly to get the win after nearly a 20-minute match. Wow, that was fantastic. I, uh, I don't know. I'd almost put that above Becky and Sasha. Would you?
Yes. I honestly thought it could very well have been the best match I've seen this year.
I think the storytelling was the best out of any of the matches the women have been involved in this year. I think the storytelling here was classic, and some moves we've never seen before. Bailey getting out of the bank statement when you thought it was going to close to being over. You know, she gets pulled from the ropes and all of a sudden rolls into a reversal. Wow. I mean, I think it's going to be a match of the year candidate for NXT by far, and it's probably going to be hard to top. Um, Big celebration. The New York crowd just loved it. Bailey in tears. Charlotte and Becky Lynch come and give her a big hug to celebrate. And then later on, Sasha Banks comes in and hugs Bailey. We get a curtain call. The four horsewomen curtain call here, Matt.
It was the perfect emotional moment to end a phenomenal match.
I love the fact that the four horsewomen with a big hug in the ring. It was almost just like the curtain call, except nobody's going to get in trouble over it. And so, uh, just amazing, and a great moment, and just loved it. So. They show Seth Rollins at ringside, the first ever NXT champion, and his girlfriend Zahara Schreiber, who is in NXT as well. So they are apparently together now, and Rollins ain't with his girlfriend, eh?
Yeah, I could not believe they had them sitting together. And as
Remember
soon
the
as I
old?
saw them, like, oh my.
I guess it was true. Rollins was fooling around. Anyways, let's go
Not
back
that
to
that's any of our business.
no, but I just thought that was ironic. Announcement by Triple H saying that NXT is going to invade the UK for a week, December 10th to 16th. Tickets go on sale the 28th of August, and I suppose that there should be a takeover. If we're going every 2 months, I think there would be a takeover, unless they're holding off until Rumble and putting it the night before Rumble. But I don't know. Do you think they're going to do a takeover before every major four pay-per-view from here out, or do you think just WrestleMania SummerSlam was the first time they did it, right?
Yeah, SummerSlam was the first time they did it.
Do you think they continue to do it at the Big Four, or well, maybe not after they outshined SummerSlam?
Yeah,
This weekend?
I honestly don't know, man.
That's tough to call because it makes for a great weekend, and part 3 of it is tomorrow for Raw at Barclays, so it makes for a pretty cool Saturday, Sunday, Monday run. But I don't know. I don't know if they should do it or not. NXT title is on the line. Ladder match: Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, having to follow the ladies there. But Matt, I don't think they topped the ladies, but they did not bow down to the ladies either. They put together a hell of a ladder match.
Oh, dude, they did everything they could after a match like that. So
it was phenomenal. I got to go back and watch it again because I'm sure there's parts of it that I missed or just little intricacies about it that I missed. But the what can you say? I mean, it's pretty cool. The beginning of the match, they started chanting for. Started chanting the Ole chant for Sami Zayn, and then Owens mocks that he hurt his shoulder.
Yep.
Oh, Owens is an asshole, and I love it. A lot of action in this match. What kind of surprised me, Matt, was there really wasn't as many close calls on top of a ladder. And I think I liked it that way because they kind of go to that card way too much on Money in the Bank and such. So I liked how they kind of kept this one a little more grounded than a normal ladder match.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you didn't need to be heavy ladder match for this match to work.
And well, in the beginning of it, I mean, Finn Balor was uh, trying to or was preventing Owens from Owens would try to go out and get a ladder, and for the first part of the match, Balor would grab him and prevent him from doing so.
Yeah.
And until he wanted the ladder introduced, because Balor was the one to first introduce a ladder into the ring, and he had kept Owens from wanting to do it early on in the match. The big turning point of the match was when Kevin Owens took a fall. This guy is not a tiny guy, and he takes a fall off of a near top of a ladder onto a horizontal ladder. That had to hurt like a bitch. Then there's a time where Owens went for a cannonball and he got all ladder instead of Balor. But the match that came to what made the match come to a head though was the coup de grace from the second rung of the ladder. That's way up there, Matt.
It was pretty sick, dude.
That is a good, I don't know, at least 3 to 5 feet above the top turnbuckle. But what a move, and that enabled Balor to climb up the ladder and retrieve the NXT title, retaining the title after just over 20 minutes of a brilliant main event. You know, the crowd could have easily fell asleep on this one after the women put on a great show, but Balor and Owens did their own great show and truly loved it. So that put a bow on NXT Takeover from Brooklyn, and the crowd was great. Kind of interesting that just noticed this all baby faces won those matches.
I didn't even. I honestly, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Huh.
The baby faces won every match, and it still was a great match. So, uh, kudos to the guys at NXT, because if you were not aware of them now, you are going to be fully aware, because this show had a sellout crowd in a big arena. They blew the roof off the arena and just completely came to play on Saturday night. What any final thoughts on NXT Takeover there, Matt?
Just top to bottom, it was an amazing show. In one of the best special events I've seen the network have in quite some time. I very much enjoyed it. It really, as I said, I really feel that Takeover set the bar probably too high of an expectations for SummerSlam, and it just wasn't able to live up to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we were expecting some epic things to happen, and we got ourselves a lot of odd finishes tonight.
I really only think we got one odd finish.
Yeah, the title match.
I didn't think it was an odd finish.
I don't know.
Honestly, I loved the finish. I didn't have a problem with it.
We'll go to SummerSlam in just a minute, but it's time for our top 5. Every pay-per-view review show, we have ourselves a little top 5 for you. Next month, we are going to put together our own 4 horsemen of the current day. We're going to pick 4 horsemen and a J.J. Dillon with no restrictions on what company they currently work for, and we'll give you our 4 horsemen for you in honor of the 4 horsewomen celebrating in the ring at NXT Takeover. We'll get that for you after Night of Champions, but for this top 5, it is 5 cornerstones for our own wrestling promotion. On the last episode of Lost in the Midcard, we gave you our 5 prospects to have on our promotion, and this one's going to be our cornerstones. And these are the guys that we are building our company around. Matt, who was your first guy?
My first guy is somebody who probably pretty obvious. Um, but he's a box office draw, and there's no reason not to have him on your freaking roster, and that would be Brock Lesnar. Um, the guy, he equals pay-per-view buys, he equals asses in the seats. And I definitely think he'd be somebody you could easily be getting to build a company around, and not even have an issue.
Yeah, he brings that mainstream type of deal. I mean, he was all over ESPN just the other day.
Yep.
And yeah, I kind of went a lot younger with mine. I didn't take any veterans, so to say, except for one specific one that's probably going to make you laugh. But
I
kind of.
really, my main people, what I base this off of is who I thought could sell merch for me, who I thought would fill the seats in the arena, and who I thought would um, provide the most word of mouth among wrestling
Mhm.
fans to want to turn into the product to see what was going on.
I feel like my five kind of fit that as well. But I mean, Lesnar's a great choice, obviously, for the mainstream type of deal as well. Your pocketbook is just going to be a little lighter than mine.
Oh, I guarantee I spent major money. There's no doubt about it. But if I won the lottery and I could start my own promotion and I could have any five people that I wanted to be my headliners, these would be my five guys. So
Well, my first guy is a homer pick because it's my favorite wrestler in the WWE. It's Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose has got that kind of stone cold Steve Austin factor to him, that anti-establishment. He connects with the fans. He gets one of the biggest pops of the whole company. On top of that, he is just a phenomenal wrestler. I said it day one when he got into Foley's face at WrestleMania. I got so excited that Ambrose's debut in the company was going to be against Mick Foley, and unfortunately, due to Foley not being able to pass physical tests, it never happened. And instead, we got the Shield, which happened to be one of the greatest factions in WWE history.
yeah, I think it kind of worked out.
It worked out just a little bit. So it was a homer pick for me, but I could not leave Dean Ambrose off of my cornerstones at all, just because of the simple fact of what he brings in the ring, what he brings to connect with the crowd, and hey, he's got a few shirts to sell too. Matt, who's your second guy?
My second guy would be somebody who I would be spending the money to bring back um, to the world of professional wrestling, much to the chagrin of the WWE, and that would be CM Punk.
Oh God,
Dude, I would open up the wallet
you
to
stole
bring.
my last guy.
Dude, I would open up the wallet to bring the best in the world to my promotion, to be one of the top guys. It would be ridiculous. So look, it's not bad that we have similar picks. That's not
I
bad.
did not. I did not think you were going to have him, so I was going to be like my wow
Oh,
factor
was that
for
your
my
ace? Was that your
guy.
ace in the hole? I'm
Yeah, that
sorry.
was my
I am
ace in the
sorry,
hole.
sir. Would it make you feel better if I said I was going to have The Rock on my list, but I figured I wouldn't be able to give him enough money to get him out of Hollywood full time? That's the only reason
Boy,
The Rock's not in my top five, because I didn't think there was all the money in the world that could get him to return to wrestling on a full time schedule.
yeah, and plus, if you did bring him back, I would be calling you WCW and end up buying you out eventually.
Yeah, right. You're
So
nuts.
we both have CM Punk for clear reasons. Best talker in the company, best wrestler in the world. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Merch, mainstream appeal, especially if he comes back from UFC. All of it is right there. I doubt CM Punk ever comes back to WWE to wrestle,
See, I
but
wouldn't think he'd ever come back to WWE. But I think
stranger things have happened. But unfortunately, I don't know if we are ever going to see CM Punk wrestle again. I don't know.
I think if his UFC thing doesn't work out, and there was an upstart company where the money was right and his friends were there, I could see him giving it a go.
God, imagine if he went to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it
Ooh,
would be ridiculous. I don't think they can afford him.
they can't afford him. No. What's your third guy, Matt?
My third guy is the guy who WWE won't let work right now, even though he's cleared by doctors. I would be signing away Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
because he's been cleared by the official NFL doctors. Um, for his concussions, he's cleared by doctors that he can step back in the ring and compete, and WWE won't let him because they're gun shy about the whole concussion thing. So honestly, WWE, if you don't want to let him compete, and the doctors say he's cleared and good to go, I'll be more than happy to bring Daniel Bryan into the fold and let him have his dream match with Brock Lesnar that he's been talking about for the last several months.
Injury history of recent is what kept me from putting him on my cornerstone list. Obviously,
Well, in
if
my perfect world, I would bring him in and he would never get hurt again. And he would
yeah,
spend the rest of his career making WWE regret the fact that they didn't let him work again.
yeah, but that's the reason why I didn't have him as my cornerstone. Because what if he does get hurt again?
But see,
That
but
type
see
of
that
deal.
that's not my world. My world
Yeah,
he
well,
doesn't get hurt again.
you're running a fantasy company and I'm running a real company. That's why I'm again
These are
gonna buy
both
you out.
fantasy companies, you jabroni, Mark.
Again, that's why I'm gonna be buying you out eventually.
You
I will be on your television network with a shit-eating grin.
dude, all my guys are major merchandise movers. They're gonna put asses in seats and
Speaking of a
bring in the
merchandise
ratings. So I don't know what
speaking
you're
of
talking about.
speaking of a merchandise mover, I have Finn Balor as one of my cornerstones. This guy basically orchestrated the best non WWE faction of all time since the NWO, and that was the Bullet Club. This guy turned from the most beloved babyface into a hated heel at New Japan. And then Triple H, thank God, signed him to WWE. And what Finn Balor has done since he's debuted has been nothing short of amazing. His in ring ability is obviously second to none, but his showmanship is and his creativity set him apart from the rest of the crowd. You see a shitload of those little face painting shirts all over the crowd at NXT Takeover and at Full Sail, and that the merch part of that is definitely taking care of itself due to his creativity. And the kid is still young, so he's going to be around for a long, long time. Matt, who do you got for your fourth guy?
Speaking of merch, I got the man whose initial T-shirt sold out in under 2 hours. The Samoan Submission Machine, Samoa Joe.
Bow, bow,
I'm
bow,
telling you,
bow.
man. Can you imagine getting to see Punk and Joe go at it again,
Oh,
or to get to see Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar, or Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan? I'm telling you, I'm creating dream matches in my main event card right now, man.
age is again a thing that kept me from putting Joe on mine.
He's only
Uh,
mid-30s. He's not that old.
True, but a guy of that stature, who knows when it goes. I don't know how big his run is going to be in the WWE, and so that kind of kept me from putting him on. Um, but speaking of bigger stature guys, my next guy is Kevin Owens. Uh, it came apparent when he was gaining so much steam in Ring of Honor that it was only a matter of time before Kevin Steen would be joining the WWE. And again, thank you Triple H for bringing this guy over. Kevin Owens has it all, and I did not think. I guess I should preface that. I should say I did think merch was a piece of it because his merch was all over in Ring of Honor with Kill Steen Kill. You know, it was already there. It was built in for when he came to the WWE with Fight Owens Fight. This guy is got moves that people that are in better shape can't do. This guy can wrestle, put together matches of the year like he did with John Cena. He is still young, has a long career ahead of him, and he's already on the fast track to the upper echelon at WWE. And it's hard to have a promotion without him as your cornerstone. Matt, who's your last guy?
My last guy, again, butts in the seats, merchandise mover. I am plucking him out of obscurity and saving him from the Titanic. I'm bringing in Jeff Hardy, man.
Yeah.
Um, his career writes itself. Um, and there's no way Jeff Hardy would not be, a star in any company right now on the planet. And to have him in there and to mix him with some of those guys, would be freaking awesome. So yeah, rounding out, I'm bringing Jeff Hardy to the party.
My final guy, obviously, I don't disagree with Jeff Hardy because Jeff Hardy was my favorite wrestler of the entire promotion. Jeff Hardy against Undertaker, ladder match on Raw is my favorite match of all time. I would not disagree. I didn't even think of Hardy, and but again, I was kind of staying on the young path for mine.
As I said, my young path was the 5 people that we named earlier in the week. Like this was what I wanted to. This was the main event of my company. The people that were going to get the asses in the seats, while the younger talent that I picked on the last podcast are going to be the people that keep them there in the future. That was my entire plan.
Well, all 5 of my guys are getting asses in the seats, and they're going to do so for another 10 to 15 years. So there you go.
You're just joking. My list was better. That's okay.
I'm buying your company out in a few years once all your old guys run the company and into the ground. So
you're on crack.
Seth Rollins is my final cornerstone for my company. I think it is almost safe to say he's probably the best wrestler in the main roster of WWE right now. Cesaro's probably up there, but I put probably Seth Rollins at the top right now. As a member of the Shield, I wouldn't have, but the way he's evolved since turning on the Shield and becoming a great heel on the mic, and still performing great matches. He had an amazing finisher get taken away, and what does he do? He borrows the pedigree from Triple H, and it works perfectly to fit his heel persona. Seth Rollins is definitely going to be the future for WWE, even though he proclaims it is true. That I think that Seth Rollins is here to stay, and he's the best worker, one of the best workers in the company right now. And every person he has a match with, he makes it great. So there you go, our 5 cornerstones for our own wrestling promotion. You could let us know who you thought, which promotion is better. Mine.
Go back to our last podcast, grab our initial 5 young guns, tag them up with our 5 cornerstones, sound off on the comments section on YouTube or Facebook or the Twitter machine or however you want to do it. And yeah, let us know who has the better promotion, who would be getting your money going forward in the years to come.
And I will, like I said, in a few years, I will come on to Matt's show and tell everybody that I just bought him out.
He wishes.
You're fired. It's time for SummerSlam tonight. 4 hours of what was supposed to be the second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
What?
But as we said, it fell kind of flat. Start off with Jon Stewart as the host of SummerSlam. What did you think of the Jon Stewart McFoley thing?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was more of something to buy time. Obviously, they scheduled for a 4-hour show and didn't have enough content to fill it. So
I still want 20 of my minutes back. I was promised 4 hours. I'm still owed 20 minutes somewhere.
Honestly, 4 hours to me was an hour too long. So I was not at all brokenhearted that they didn't give me the entire 4 hours.
I don't know. I just didn't find it funny. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I was just like expecting something better. It's cool to see Foley out there again, but I was just expecting something better. I don't know.
I was just kind of bummed Foley was the only surprise of the evening. Because I told my friends when Foley came out, I'm like, all right, guys, let's count the number of surprises tonight. Number 1, Mick Foley, and we never got to number 2. I don't think there were any other surprises for the rest of the night.
We're still on number 1, guys. It's 11 o'clock Central, 12 on the East Coast. We're still waiting for number 2. Well, I got a number 2 for you, though.
Kevin Dunn special.
Kevin Dunn special. Yes. Randy Orton Sheamus kicks off the night, and
the crowd groaned.
Yeah, the crowd kind of shit on this one. I didn't hate it.
I didn't think it was as good. I didn't think it was good as the match they had last month.
No, it wasn't. And I didn't hate it. But it was more like a Raw match than a SummerSlam come to a head type of feud. Because again, this match didn't really need to happen because Orton beat him clean in St. Louis. But now, obviously, I mean, we both picked Sheamus because we all were like, "Oh, duh, he's not going to lose twice."
Yeah, I mean to the same guy. It just wouldn't have made any sense.
So I wonder if the briefcase goes up at Night of Champions. That'll be the only way that I am invested in a third match between these two.
No more. Split them up. No more Sheamus and Orton. God.
I don't know. Well, they obviously are going to have a third match now that Sheamus beat him.
No. What do you mean third match? Talk about 300th match. They've been fighting each other since the night after freaking WrestleMania 29.
They're playing a best out of 311 series. We're not there yet, Matt. We're not even halfway.
What are you doing to the people?
After the match, they showed a couple of jabronis that got front row seats from DraftKings, and
they got booed.
They got booed.
I laughed.
Well, they got booed A because they got free front row seats, and B because they look kind of like douches. Oh, Matt! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your two-time tag champs and feel the power. It's a new day. Matt? Oh, that last one was off.
How dare you, JB? Can't even get your New Day clapping sync done.
You paused too long in between the second to last.
You're full of crap.
For as badly as they treated the tag teams on the Go Home show, thank God they put on a great match and even got a "This is awesome" chant from the New York crowd. Even though there was some botchamania going on in the match. Sin Cara hit a sloppy move. One of the Los bore me to tears. Fell off the turnbuckle when he was supposed to get suplexed. So then we had to get the Los bore me to tears guy number 2 to come in there and take the bump. Outside of that though, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy the tag match?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. There were a bunch of crazy spots, and everybody, for the most part, worked really hard, and I was super thrilled with the outcome. So
the only thing I didn't like was the fact that it's a fatal 4-way, no disqualification, and like there was one time where it might have been Titus going for the pin on one of the Matadores, and Big E just walked off. He didn't try to stop the pin.
I remember exactly what you're talking about, and I remember saying to myself, "Why the heck didn't he kick him off?"
Yeah, little things like that kind of drove me a little nuts, but the chaos was great. It didn't start off chaotic. It started off like a traditional fatal 4-way type of match, but then it got chaotic. It was everything was timed and placed in the right areas, and even though there was a few botches, it was a good tag match. And of course, with O'Neal hits Clash of the Titus on Diego, and then Kingston, but I didn't realize that Kofi got a tag in right before that big superplex spot, and so then he kicks Titus O'Neil, gets him out of the way, and pins Diego for the win. So the New Day is your 2-time tag champs, as we both had predicted. I think Trevor did predict that as well. And the tag championships are where they belong.
Amen. Couldn't have said it any better myself, JB.
Jon Stewart backstage with Neville and Stephen Amell talking about Undertaker. Again, another segment with Jon Stewart I didn't like. I thought it was the only cool thing about it was Undertaker walking by, but other than that,
why I liked every single Jon Stewart segment leading up to what he did tonight is because he was stressing about the fact of how big of a wrestling fan he is and how important the professional wrestling business is to him. So I will explain why I enjoyed the finish to Rollins and Cena so much when we get there, but it definitely had to do with all of Stewart's segments leading up to that match.
Yeah.
I'll explain it when we get there. Maybe you'll have a different opinion once I lay it out for you.
I don't know. I think they all fell flat except for one that's coming up, and I will talk about that once we get there. Dolph Ziggler enters the arena with Lana. No more business suit for Lana. What did you think about the old '90s stonewashed look for Lana?
Whatever.
Come on, man. It's better than the business suit.
Well, it's better than the business suit, but anything's better than the business suit.
The only thing good about the business suit's the legs part. So
Yeah, I don't know. It just screamed whatever to me. Honestly, the entire match did. As soon as this wasn't a mixed tag, I immediately lost interest in this match.
I disagree. I thought the match was great between the two. I thought it was just some good action back and forth between these guys, and I think maybe I thought it was great just because of Ziggler being so fresh because we haven't seen him in about over a month. But I think the two worked really well together. The double countout finish was kind of meh, but at the same time I said, well, I don't care about it because that's going to set up what we wanted, which was the mixed tag match. That'll probably set that up at Night of Champions. Um, but I still think the match was great when it kicked it into that gear. Ziggler hitting a famouser with a near fall, but he rarely wins with it, but it still made us think that he almost got the win there. Um, then of course the ladies get involved and we see more upskirt shots, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. The fans were booing the double count out. I didn't hate it as much. What did you think of the finish? Did you hate it or not? Was
It
it
was
different?
honestly, it was whatever to me. As I said, I didn't care. Um, I honestly think Ziggler got punished for some of his media comments that he made over the weekend in New York. I bet you he was scheduled to win, and WWE got word of what he was saying to the media, and it probably cost him a win at SummerSlam. As
What
much as I
happened
love
again?
Dolph, that dude just doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
What happened again?
He just had some unkind things about to say to the media this weekend about the way WWE books him and his character.
Mm.
And yeah, it just seems like every time we get around SummerSlam, Dolph Ziggler opens his damn mouth and says shit that he shouldn't say, and everybody wonders why the guy doesn't get pushed, and it's because he can't keep his mouth shut.
Next up is Neville and Stephen Amell against Stardust and King Barrett
The
and
Cosmic King.
the Cosmic King. And once again, props to Amell. He looked great in this
Oh,
match.
absolutely. It was awesome.
He was selling pretty good. I mean, looked a little awkward at times, but hello, he's not a professional wrestler, so I gave him the
For
benefit of the doubt
somebody
there.
really and truly being in there for like the first time, I thought he did excellent.
Him and Stardust had great chemistry in the ring.
They did.
And him and Barrett were not that bad either. It wasn't as good of chemistry as him and Stardust, but still, uh, it was great. And then obviously, because Neville started off the match, and then Barrett got worked over by Neville a little bit early on, and so then Barrett tags in Stardust, and Stardust says he wants Amell, and he gets Amell. And then the heels start working over Amell, in which makes you think that this match is going to get over. No way Neville gets back into it. But finally, Amell hits a nice looking enziguri for a guy that's not a professional wrestler, and got the tag to Neville. Neville with his typical on fire, great hot tag stuff. Just the kicks and how fast he moves in the ring is crazy. And so both heels are on the floor, and Amell goes up to the top rope and hits a cross body. How about that? I bet CW was holding their breath there for a little bit. On a little behind the scenes non kayfabe moment. Good job by Barrett and Stardust for protecting Amell on his dive off the turnbuckle
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. They did a good job of protecting him there. Amell rolls Barrett back in after hitting the cross body, and Neville hits the red arrow for the 1-2-3. A lot of fun. I loved it, and Amel again looked like he belonged. I hope it leads to more with Amel. I don't know if it will or not, but I do hope it does. Do you think? But now,
I
do
mean,
you think it's so?
there was
He didn't pin
he
Stardust.
teased in a segment for WWE.com in an interview with him and Neville. He kind of teased that things weren't over yet, but I don't know. I don't know if that's just him hoping to do more, or if they actually have things more planned to do or planned to go.
I had that gut feeling that it wasn't over yet because Stardust never got pinned, and maybe they do Amel and Stardust 1-on-1 sometime down the road. And I hope they do that because again, Amel looked like he belongs, so that was a lot of fun. They show the 4 Tough Enough finalists at ringside again, and again, they get booed. Tune in to us for Lost in the Midcard this Thursday as we will break down the finale of Tough Enough and probably hear Matt bitching to high hell. So, Matt, when does Sarah Lee become the Divas champion?
Just trying to piss me off, JB. Just trying to piss me off.
Oh. Now, answer me this question, Matt. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental title, Ryback, Big Show, Miz. We have a 4-hour show. Why did this one only go 7 minutes?
I could not tell you.
The best part about it is when Miz hit the skull crushing finale, and we thought we didn't predict it, but we thought in the back of our minds Miz was going to win, and I thought he was right there.
Yeah.
That was coolest part of the match. But I mean, it just for a 4-hour show, I thought we would get something a little more epic with these guys, and we just didn't. The right guy won though.
Yeah, no, I agree the right guy won. It was just weird.
My fear, and you're not going to want to hear this, but my fear is Ryback and Big Show now have a feud because Miz is the one that got pinned, not Big Show. I know you're not going to love it, but
I think
have.
they need to move Ryback onto somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
Because feuding with the Big Show is not established in importance to the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, there's a guy that got a W later on in the show that I think should be the
There
next
you
one.
go. That's what I want to see.
The only
That's what I
John
want to see.
the only Jon Stewart segment of the night that I liked was with Paul Heyman. Stewart said he was an Undertaker guy and wanted to confront Brock Lesnar about that. Of course, Heyman said, Brock's got a few more things to worry about than you, Jon Stewart. And then Stewart asks Paul Heyman how he thinks about ruining all the kids' dreams, hopes and dreams with Taker losing his streak at WrestleMania. And then Heyman started singing his Revolutionary War tunes, which is love it. I love that. That was so great. That was and then he ends it with saying, "Well, I guess I couldn't get David Letterman to host." Burn. That was the only Stewart moment I liked in the whole show. But see if you can change my mind, Matt. But I highly doubt you will.
Just telling you, I thought they set the things up perfectly. I really did. I thought everything came together for what they did.
Wyatt and Harper against Reigns and Ambrose, and this is a match that I thought exceeded expectations. I thought this was one of the better matches of the night. I think it wasn't too much of a stretch to think so because these guys put on a hell of a show when it was the Shield and the Wyatts, and so we know these guys have great chemistry together. So I thought the whole thing was great. And props to the Brooklyn fans for chanting Roman sleeping when he was laid out on the floor.
Oh my!
What did you what?
I said, oh my.
What did you think of this match here?
Well, I thought it was fine for what it was. A crazy spot-filled brawl. I think the fans would have been a lot happier seeing Ambrose get the pin on
Yeah.
Wyatt. I thought the pandering for Reigns to get the pinfall was kind of forced, and I think it rubbed the crowd the wrong way. But that's how WWE wants to do things, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the country has gotten over the booing of Reigns, but obviously New York City has not. But yeah, I liked it. I thought the ending was kind of, yeah, like you said, the ending. I figured there'd be a little more to it than that, but that was one of my wrong spots of that because I thought the Wyatts were going to win here. But everybody thought somebody was turning heel, and guess what? Nothing happened.
I
And
didn't
I
think
think that
anybody was turning heel. I tried to tell everybody.
I tried to tell everybody too.
People just
I
don't
fully agree.
listen.
It didn't need to happen, and it didn't. So that's best for business, and that's what we got. And oh, hey, here we go. Got the I got the replay going as we record, so we got the old hot tag to Neville, followed by the Amel dive. Excellent. Now this match kind of surprised at its placing on the card. It was right smack dab in the middle at 8 o'clock or 9 Eastern. Title for title: Seth Rollins, John Cena, and I tell you what, outside of the ending of it, I thought this was just a great match.
Yeah, it
And
was really good.
Cena is probably going to be. I don't know about you, Matt, but I think we're in agreement that Cena is probably the front runner for our Wrestler of the Year for 2015.
Definitely in the
And
running.
yeah, and Seth Rollins is one of the best ones out there, and so I thought these guys title for title is a big moment, and they lived up to that big moment billing. Um, I thought it was kind of quite the ironic thing where when John Cena pulls on the figure four. Imagine John Cena winning his 16th title with the figure four. That's almost kind of a heelish move, don't you think?
Yeah, that would have. Dude, I looked at a friend when they put the move on. I looked at her, looked, and I'm telling you right now, if Cena wins the championship with the fucking figure four, I'm done for the night. I'm done.
no,
I'm like
no, no
like
loss in
I am not watching the rest of the show. I'm
no,
done.
no podcast,
No,
no nothing.
you could have filled me in on what happened throughout the rest of the show. I would not have watched the rest of the show. I
If
would
we
have
could
been
go back
done
in time, if
because
we could go back in time and John Cena wins with the figure four and Matt gives up on the pay per view, and then I fill him in on the end of Taker Lesnar.
could you have imagined having my mind explode live on the podcast? Because that
Matt
probably
hangs
would
up
have
on
happened.
Skype. Matt hangs up on Skype and ends the podcast just like he ended the pay per view.
Oh,
But props to Cena and Rollins for the work they did. Jon Stewart comes out with a steel chair, obviously teasing that he hates uh, Seth Rollins still, but obviously they've kind of made up if you follow any kind of social media. And John, I don't disagree. I don't hate Jon Stewart's involvement in the match. I just hate the execution. He telegraphed that
well, the
terribly.
execution was John Cena's fault.
Was it? How so?
John Cena took too long to stand up.
Mm.
And when you're dealing with somebody who's not a professional and not an improviser and something like that, and he's set to do something at a certain time, and he goes to do it, and Cena's not standing, and he has to stand there and stall, that's on Cena. That wasn't on John Stewart at all.
I
And
still would
that
have.
also can be edited very well to
Mhm.
make it look fine.
Oh, it
Yeah, I
will
mean
be edited very
it
well.
really wasn't that bad. Um,
It will be
but
edited very well for Raw tomorrow night. I guarantee.
the fault there was squarely on the shoulders of John Cena.
I would have booked it a little different. I would have not. I would have had. I love the fact that they went to Rollins hitting him in the nose with a knee. Well, a kayfabe hitting him in the nose. But I love that they went to that at the end of the match and Stewart coming out. I think Stewart should have just handed Rollins the chair and said have at it instead of him doing the shot himself. And then the pedigree on the chair, get the chair out of the way. 1, 2, 3. I think I just would have booked it a little differently. But unlike you, I was not pleased with Stewart's performances tonight. Unlike when he was on Raw and did a lot better job, I just did not like his performances tonight, and maybe that's why it took away from me on this match. So, Matt, how are you going to sell me on turning my opinion around on Jon Stewart?
John Stewart essentially did what any diehard, respectable fan of professional wrestling would have done in the exact same situation that he was in. And that would be make sure John Cena doesn't become the 16-time WWE World Champion, tying Ric Flair. Jon Stewart spent the entire evening driving the fact home about how big a professional wrestling fan he was, how much the business meant to him, and how much he cared and loved it as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, the majority of the fan base out there right now did not want to see John Cena become the WWE champion tonight and tie one of the greatest of all times records in Ric Flair. So Jon Stewart essentially was all of us and came out and it did what we would have done. It
If
helped
they
Seth
play it,
Rollins become the champion.
if they play it off like that, I can feel a little better
That's
about it.
that's the way it came across to me. That's why I thought it was so good, dude.
I just did. I
I
just did. I just was not. I just did not. I was not entertained about much of what he did tonight,
I will
though.
tell you right now, sir. I have the TV on, and right now I am watching highlights on Sports Center of Jon Stewart hitting John Cena with a chair,
Of course,
and
that's going to be on
highlights of
Sports
the
Center.
Rollins John Cena match on
I think.
on
Well, they're at.
ESPN Sports Center right now.
Well, Sports Center's at SummerSlam, so
So
it definitely would make sense that there's going to be SummerSlam highlights.
yeah, but dude, it's surreal to see WWE covered on ESPN.
Yeah, and
They got the
how much
they got the coach right now standing in an empty building at Barclays. I can't hear him because I have the volume down low.
and
But talking about SummerSlam. I mean, that's freaking awesome, dude.
and tell me this, Matt, how much UFC is on Sports Center tonight?
I haven't seen any.
You don't see. Have you ever, as sports? I don't watch Sports Center that much anymore, but I mean, has Sports Center been live from any UFC pay-per-views? You know,
No, not really.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey Dana, maybe you shouldn't have opened your mouth there a little bit when. Yeah. Hey Matt, WWE Network has got a bright future ahead of it, even though, duh. But hey,
Duh.
Edge and Christian on the Stone Cold podcast. How fun is that going to be?
That'll be phenomenal. Honestly, I think Edge and Christian should have their own show on the
Oh,
WWE Network. But I will gladly take a podcast of them and Stone Cold.
They now is that they were pimping the performance center thing. Were they pimping the one time thing, or is this actually now turned into a series? I don't know. They weren't kind of
Yeah, I
clear.
wasn't really sure.
As we speculated, Brock Lesnar, as we reported on Lost in the Midcard a couple of weeks ago, Brock Lesnar wrestling his first house show in a long time in October at Madison Square Garden. And as we correctly assumed the WWE would do, they are going to broadcast it live. Thank you, WWE, for doing that.
They would have been not. They
Madison,
would have been nuts not to.
yeah, Madison Square Garden it's always fun when there's a live show there, and to broadcast a house show from there and broadcast it on the network. Thank you guys, because that's just going to be great. They are going to do a special WWE 24 on NXT as well, which should also be some great entertaining stuff to see. Kind of stuff we've never seen with the Full Sail production, and so I'm definitely excited. There's some great shit coming up on the WWE Network, Matt,
Yeah, buddy.
and hopefully I don't know what date it is, but hopefully in the fall they do broadcast the Mexico show as well when Undertaker's scheduled to perform. So
That would be cool.
it's time for the Divas Revolution, the Bellas, PCB, and Bad triple threat elimination match. Matt, did you catch that? I'm not saying team with those fucking names.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Matt, I was a little disappointed in this match. What about you?
Well, if you're comparing it to the women's match we had at Takeover, how could you not be disappointed?
I basically called the match layout piece by piece. I said Bad's gonna get eliminated. They did. But I incorrectly said Charlotte's going to pin Nikki when Becky pinned Brie. So I figured it was going to set up Charlotte and Nikki for Night of Champions. So my guess is now Stephanie makes PCB fight each other in a triple threat for the number one contendership to Nikki's title.
Or they give the title shot to all three of them, making a fatal four-way.
Ooh, Well, she said to the victor goes the spoils, so there's going to be something in line for PCB. That's for damn sure. Um, Now here's the question. Let me know if you think this makes sense. This lacked a lot of drama that a typical Divas match has had lately. Do you think there would have been more drama if it would have been done the way we think the thing should have done, with a true elimination one by one style?
Oh, absolutely. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing about the show, they had plenty of time to do it if they would have wanted to.
The match did go 16 minutes, so it's not like it was a rushed little thing. Bad did get eliminated pretty quick, but uh, and you
I
know the
completely understood limiting Bad's time because I bet you Sasha Banks was hurting
oh, I'm sure
from the night before.
she was
So,
not showcased much in that match at all.
yeah.
The crowd wanted her, chanted "We want Sasha." So she got in, did a couple of things, and that was it. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, she didn't get much in tonight.
I just think it lacked drama that Divas matches of this caliber have had lately. So, but like I said, if they would have had a one by one elimination, I think that would have heightened it. Hey, have Paige and Charlotte or Paige and Becky get pinned right away, and the last PCB girl standing has this miraculous comeback and ends up pinning the champ. You know, setting an easy setup for Night of Champions. But I don't mind this setup where if we have a triple threat PCB for the winner to face Nikki, or if it's a fatal four way like you just said, I don't mind it playing out like that because that still gives us a little something. At this point, though, are you kind of tired of the teams and ready for some one-on-one stories?
Yeah, I mean, I think the teams were to honestly were to bring everybody in and introduce them properly to the audience. Now that SummerSlam's done and over with, I think they can go away from that a little bit going forward.
After the match, they show a couple more douches that got front row seats to SummerSlam by drinking Mountain Dew.
Douches.
And probably was this the biggest pop of the night? Who had the biggest pop of the night, Matt? Cesaro or Lesnar?
Oh, it had to have been Lesnar.
I don't know, because Cesaro had a humongous pop by the New York crowd. Owens, give him credit for having a brutal ladder match, and he took some bumps into that baby, and he's fighting the next day. And him and Cesaro went at it. I don't know, man. Match of the night between Cesaro, Owens, and Cena, Rollins.
I mean, there was a lot of discussion about this online. And I was even
I'm gonna
I
go.
was
I'm
even
gonna go.
willing. Honestly, I was even willing to throw Lesnar and Brock. I mean, not Lesnar and Brock, Lesnar and Taker into the mix before the finish.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
because it was the match we were supposed to have at WrestleMania
yeah, and I
30.
was enjoying the hell out of it. Until the ending. So I
And I don't know if the ending's gonna take away from me making it match of the night or not. It's so hard. I think it's 1A, 1B, and 1C with these guys. I thought Owens and Cesaro
I would say
was an
I'd say Owens and
underrated.
Cesaro was match of the night to me.
It was an underrated match.
I would put Cena and Rollins behind that. And due to the finish, I would put Taker and Lesnar behind that.
And just give it to Kevin Owens for performing two straight
Dude
nights.
busted his ass this weekend, man.
And he'll probably perform tomorrow night too. And he's gonna be coming out like a cocky motherfucker, and it's gonna be great. I said the things I love about why I love Kevin Owens. He's agile. He's an asshole. He's a great professional wrestler, and he's an asshole.
Wow.
Owens is a great asshole, by the way, if you didn't catch my drift there. But
No, I totally went right over my head, JB.
during the match, some pyro caught fire, and I'm speculating it was Lesnar's uh, stuff that shoots out at the entrance ramp when he throws the fists down, because we didn't get pyro for that entrance. But it was all over Twitter that there was a fire, and of course the crowd chanted it. And Owens he goes, "You're damn right, I'm on fire." He turned it into about me. I love that. I love that. But Cesaro, I mean, the moves that he's been pulling out, the newer moves that he's been pulling out of his arsenal, with a lot more aerial action, phenomenal. somehow deadlifting Owens into a gut wrench off the turnbuckle. That was just insane. And then, of course, I was kind of surprised Cesaro didn't wear the sleeve. I hope Vince told him to quit wearing it, but he did at least put the sharpshooter on for Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
And to go back, Matt, to go back to Cena and Rollins once again, yes, I'm now finally on board with getting rid of the springboard stunner.
Dude, does it not? It seemingly gets worse every time he does it.
Battlefield was the best one ever. SummerSlam was probably the worst one ever.
It looked like shit balls.
It did. It did. And Steve Austin put that on Twitter.
Oh, yeah,
too.
he did. You notice he didn't tweet after the main event ended?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, dude. Austin was talking about how great the main event was so far, and then the finish happened, and Austin hasn't tweeted since.
Oh, I've got your reaction of Austin after the main event of SummerSlam tonight. All you got to do is go to YouTube and Google Ariana telling Steve Austin her best match of all time in the WWE. And you will see the exact reaction of what Austin probably thought of SummerSlam on that video. So if you're all interested on Austin's reaction to that.
I don't know. I think you can use the Austin meme. At first, I LOL'd, and then I got serious.
Owens with a cradle suplex off of the middle ropes, and then the pop-up powerbomb. Kevin Owens gets the W against Cesaro, and both of us are hoping that he has Ryback in his sights next.
That would be, dude, those two guys slugging it out. Mm-hmm. I think that would be dope, man.
It would. I don't know if Owens would win in that because obviously we still have Kevin Dunn employed, but I'll tell you what, man, Owens has delivered the goods after being on the fast track to the main roster. It is main event time. Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, and big fight feel personified right here. Undertaker does his typical routine, except he doesn't get to take off the hat and the coat. Lesnar attacks him before he even gets to do all of that. And, oh, man, again, this is what we were supposed to see at WrestleMania 30 if Undertaker didn't get concussed.
Yeah, I would certainly think so.
We got ourselves a dueling Undertaker Suplex City chant. Undertaker hit old school, but how about Lesnar putting it into a F5 before Taker scurried out of that? Woo! And then once again, Lesnar selling some more T-shirts as he looks into the camera and says "Suplex City, bitch." And we got ourselves about 4 of them. Yeah, he said it on the odd ones, 2 and 4. Suplex City, bitch. And then it was time for the French announce table to surrender, as the French announce table got decimated with an F5 by Lesnar. And kind of odd the ref did not count. Well, obviously, it's not time to end the match, but
the ref gave no fucks.
Yeah, Charles Robinson said, "Hey, screw you."
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
He did. Screw you guys. I'm gonna go bleach my hair. He did start counting once Lesnar did hit the F5, and Taker makes it back before the 10 count. And Lesnar then is saying, "I'm gonna kill you," and then Taker says, "You're gonna have to," and goes
monster choke slam.
Well, he had some height to that.
That bitch. Was a monster choke slam, dude.
Choke slam city, bitch. And then he hits the tombstone on Lesnar. Lesnar kicks out at 2. Lesnar sits up and laughs. And then how about Taker's laugh?
It was one of the best, spots in the match. I think it was pretty fucking funny.
That was great. I loved it. Undertaker hits the world's tallest wedgie with the last ride, and that gets a 2 count. Lesnar hits a second F5 on Taker for a 2 count, and Lesnar finally starts to have a little bit of worry in his eyes because the second kick out. And then Lesnar hits a third F5, and that's third F5 is what did Taker in at WrestleMania a year and a half ago, but Taker kicks out at 2 again, and so finally Lesnar is starting to worry. And that stunned silence by Brock Lesnar turns into walking into the Hell's Gate. And we thought maybe Lesnar was going to fail a tap out there, pass out, but he gets out of it and applies the Kimura. And all of a sudden, a great match turns into what the fuck, Matt?
I agree.
All of a sudden, the bell is ringing, and Twitter and the crowd, everybody at home, says, "What the fuck?"
Because it didn't make any sense. I mean, it would have made more sense if they would have shot that scene from a better camera angle to start. Like if it would have been the side that showed Taker tapping out and we couldn't see the referee, so we see the tap out and then we hear the bell. We're like, all right, that makes sense. But the camera angle being out of place, completely ruined that finish.
Yeah,
and you know who you can blame? Some producer in the truck named Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Thanks, dipshit.
Well, somebody else is going to get the blame for that, not Kevin Dunn.
It's all Kevin Dunn's fault.
Yeah, well, hopefully it gets fired, but
that would be awesome.
The only way that would have made sense is if somebody like Kane or anybody.
I was hoping after Taker hit the low blow and put the Hell's Gate on, I was begging for the caw. You know, I wanted the lights to go out. I wanted to hear the caw. I wanted the lights to come back on. Sting be in the ring. And I probably would have lost my freaking mind.
Charles Robinson's yelling at the timekeeper saying he didn't call for the bell because, yeah, it's the ref's discretion. It ain't the timekeeper saying to end the match. It's the ref pointing. And so we're just wondering what the fuck is happening. While all the confusion's going on, Taker hits Lesnar in the ding-ding. And the ref's not looking. So then he applies the Hell's Gate. This is another thing that pissed me off.
You and your damn ding-ding.
I love the fact that Lesnar gave Taker the middle finger while he's in the Hell's Gate. But Robinson called for the bell way too quickly after Lesnar slumped in.
I agree.
So then after the match, you know, Undertaker goes the back. Paul Heyman gets on the mic and bitches and saying the winner's Brock Lesnar. God, I was hoping Triple H to come out and say, we're restarting this match right now. No disqualification, no countouts. There's going to be a winner after these two fuck-ups. But no. We get sent home with that finish, Matt. What do you have to add to that finish?
And dude, you know what? I said my piece at the beginning of the show. It just sometimes sometimes WWE creative really makes me feel better about myself.
How so?
Because they're so stupid. That they make me feel smarter. With choices and decisions that I make in everyday life. Because at the end of the day, I can say, at least I'm not WWE creative.
On paper, who would have thought this was a good idea?
Apparently, whoever booked it.
SummerSlam as a whole, Matt, disappointing?
I wouldn't go as far as disappointing, but I would say underwhelming.
Yeah, we didn't get any.
I think it would have been a lot better as a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
And if they would have cut like maybe 3 matches off of the show.
It would have been a lot better.
I would say take off Ziggler and Rusev. Take off Orton and Sheamus. And give me another match that was just bleh. There were 10 freaking matches. I'm sure there's something else I'm not thinking of that they could have removed, and no one would have really been upset.
Jon Stewart segments?
That wasn't a match.
Well, no, I mean, we had the Wyatts and Reigns and Ambrose. We can't leave those guys out.
I wouldn't want to take that off.
You could probably put maybe the tag titles on the pre-show. Treat them like shit, like they did on
Raw. I don't want you to do that either.
Intercontinental title, can't really do that. Can't do a Mal and Neville.
You could have removed the Intercontinental title match, or you could have.
Well, we didn't have one.
Or you
could have one at Battleground.
It was only 7 minutes. You could have put that on the pre-show. Yeah, you throw that on the pre-show. You remove Orton and Sheamus and Ziggler and Rusev. You make the show 3 hours. And I think overall the night would have flowed a lot better. And I think it overall probably would have been a stronger show.
Well, as we put a wrap on this weekend of some great action, I guess it's safe to say we could sum up the weekend with NXT stole the fucking show, huh?
I don't think there's any doubt that that NXT not only delivered this weekend but outshone SummerSlam. How can you say they didn't?
Yeah, and the crowd reactions would back up that theory.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard, our SummerSlam weekend special. And catch us this Thursday. We're going to have another episode here for you. We'll react to Raw, which also emanates from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And we'll also talk about some headlines, Ring of Honor, and Tough Enough's finale. See who wins and see if we are going to be disappointed or excited or neither. But for Matt, this is Jeremy. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. Have a good week, and we'll catch you on Thursday.